I noticed how many people struggle with their relationship with food, with control, with discipline around food. They hate themselves for not being able to understand their bodies. We live in a world where people are taking injections to get thin again. When I figured out the structure of how to eat quality, real food, to feel full and to feel comfortable and not have a fight if you want to lose weight by starving yourself and putting your body in that survival mode, I had to tell everybody about it. Like, it took me a long time to learn it.
Tracy Harmoush is an investment banker turned speaker entrepreneur and one of the GCC's most influential fitness figures. In 2018, Tracy made a bold decision to leave a decade-long career in finance to pursue her passion for wellness and personal growth. She's the founder of Untraceable, a holistic wellness company, and a managing partner of The Fifth Kind Productions, the managing partner and chief marketing officer of the beloved traditional Arabic ice cream brand Mama Bouza. Tracy's journey is a testament to her courage and determination. She has received numerous accolades, including the Arab Woman Award in 2020 and the Fitness Influencer Award in 2022 and the Influencer of the Year Award from the Entrepreneur magazine at Virtue Zone Award in 2023. How can people cultivate a growth mindset?
I think a growth mindset should be cultivated in
Welcome back, Alpha Squad, to a new inspiring episode of the Alpha Talks Show, the #1 fastest growing show in the region. Today we have a very special Alpha guest who embodies the spirit of resilience, transformation, and relentless pursuit of excellence. Tracy Harmoush is an investment banker turned speaker entrepreneur and one of the GCC's most influential fitness figures. In 2018, Tracy made a bold decision to leave a decade-long career in finance to pursue her passion for wellness and personal growth. She's the founder of Untraceable, a holistic wellness company, and a managing partner of The Fifth Kind Productions, the managing partner and chief marketing officer of the beloved traditional Arabic ice cream brand Mama Bouza, and the host of the insightful What They Don't Tell Us podcast. Tracy's journey is a testament to her courage and determination. She has received numerous accolades, including the Arab Woman Award in 2020 and the Fitness Influencer Award in 2022 and the Influencer of the Year Award from the Entrepreneur magazine at Virtue Zone Award in 2023. Tracy uses her ever-growing social media presence to discuss growth, social pressure, and perceived limitations, and encouraging her audience to adopt a growth mindset and build mental toughness. Born in Denver, Colorado, and raised between the US and Lebanon, Tracy started her finance career in Dubai with Citigroup. Her story of transition from prestigious investment banking role to a dynamic entrepreneur and fitness advocate is nothing short of inspiring. So today she shares her journey, challenges, and wisdom with us, demonstrating it's never too late to start anew and achieve greatness. So please join me in welcoming Tracy to the Alpha Talk Show. Welcome. We're so happy to have you today, and it's a pleasure and it's an honor. And I'm sure we have a lot of commonalities. We've talked before recording, so I would love also to get it on recording. So are you ready?
Let's do it.
So usually I start with a question. When we publish the episode, people will see the thumbnail, the graphics, the title, and they will think it's extremely interesting episode. What can you promise them to gain if they gave us their time today?
Well, it depends on what angle you want to touch on, but I'm assuming from the title of your show, I think it's life skills, things that they can take home to kind of build, do better, a growth mindset. I have a feeling I'm going to get some good, insightful questions on this podcast.
Exactly. So how do you feel today?
I feel great.
So in a nutshell, who's Tracy in a nutshell? I will dig deep, but like from your perspective.
Who is Tracy? Tracy is a woman who has a growth mindset, who's mentally tough, who's loving at the same time, has work ethic.
Not a lot of people touch on the last part, work ethics. Let's go back in the days. Do you remember your early life, early time in Denver? Do you remember these period of time? And how did it shape you in a way?
I was too young.
Too young.
Yeah. I mean, I was like 6 when we left, but my parents were there for a total of 10 years. I feel like I have pockets of, I know what shaped my character in many ways. Back then, like a lot of Arab families, my dad made a lot of money. He worked in Qatar and he made a lot of money. So we grew up around a lot of money until our Arab family lost everything as it happens.
Yeah.
So I think a very big part of, the terminology shabane, and I know that the value of working for your money because it can be lost. I feel like I've always had this feeling of shabane wa mafi shi ba'ine because I came from
True.
money. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how people try to explain
True.
it to me. Even if you're really, really young, it's still embedded in
Exactly.
you. So I think that's kind of a beautiful thing that kind of probably shaped my personality now.
Is this the direction that took you towards finance? Because studying finance, working in finance, it's something that a little bit toughy. So maybe this part of your life put you towards this direction, or where this finance thing came to you?
Look, it was a couple of things. For starters, I felt I had a lot to prove as a 21-year-old girl. I had a lot to prove to myself, to other people. I cared a lot what people thought. I wanted to plant a seed of who I am and what I'm capable of. So I decided to embark on a finance journey because I felt like it was with the big sharks and I wanted to be playing in that pool. So I did it for 10 years because I kept having something to prove. But that at some point I was pushing 30 and I was 31 and I'm like, I no longer care what you think. I care what I think, what I feel, what I find to be growth and ambition and a proper career that's suitable for me.
But tell me a little bit about this 10 years.
Yeah.
How did you feel like being a woman in an investment bank, one of the biggest in the world? How was it?
Look, I had I was the only girl on the desk for the majority of my career. And luckily for me, I very much get along with guys. We have the same jokes or the same humor. We have the same resilience. So it was easy for me. It wasn't one of those things where I felt small. If anything, I felt protected. I got very lucky in that sense. So all the guys were rooting for me when I was still an assistant on the desk because I had 6 months of either you're going to make it, but you have to start as a desk assistant, or we're going to kick you out because it's cutthroat. So those 6 months were probably one of the toughest in terms of educating myself, the long hours, all the books that were thrown at me, shadowing every guy on the desk so that I could be eligible to be a trader. And they were all rooting for me. It's kind of like come on, Trace, you've got this, don't worry, we're going to, we want you here, we want you to stay. And evidently, I mean, I don't want to take joy of someone's misery, but when someone was made redundant, I'm here. Can I have the seat now? And I eventually did get the seat. I think it was good. I mean, obviously there were tough times where you probably aren't taken very seriously because you're young, because you're a girl. But then there was also upside where I was a trader, so I'm behind the desk on the phone pitching to clients, and they don't know what I look like, they don't know how old I am. But when they would meet me in the annual conference and I'm being introduced as, this is Tracy, your trader, they look at me like, there's no way that's you. And that made me feel good.
True.
So I guess you're not going to have everybody root for you, but at the same time, when you push hard and when you try, I feel like you can flip the script.
A quick note, before we jump into this episode, I find this incredibly intriguing. On the back end of our YouTube channel, it says around 75% of you who watch this channel frequently over the lifetime of this channel haven't yet hit the subscribe button. I just wanted to ask you for a favor. It helps this channel so much if you choose to just subscribe. It helps us invite guests that give you great value. It helps us scale the production and as well makes this show bigger and bigger for you. So if I will ask you just one favor, and if you enjoyed the previous episodes and you're currently enjoying this episode, could you please hit the subscribe button? I love your support. It's incredible to see all your comments and engagement, and we are just starting. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Thank you so much, and I will repay this gesture by making sure that everything we do on this show makes it bigger, and better. I'm committed to do this promise. Do we have a deal? Thank you so much for subscribing. It means the world to me. What did you learn in these 10 years? Because a lot of people ask me, Seif, okay, you've been an ex-corporate for over 10 years as well.
Yeah.
It was a valuable part in my life. I have to admit, whether I loved it, I didn't, was early to leave, late to leave, doesn't matter. But it shaped my character as well. What did you learn that made Tracy now in these 10 years in such a corporation?
Yeah. Look, I mean, we were talking about this before we got on camera, that sometimes when you do that shift, you would lose the name, you'd lose the business card, right? And you'd lose the position.
True.
So you'd lose a lot of respect, and that could be a bruise to your ego, and you have to rebuild from scratch. And sometimes it made me doubt, like, if it was the right move. But if I were to look at exactly what has happened ever since then, and how I've grown exponentially, I cannot say anything other than it was completely thanks to the discipline and the work ethic that I've learned in corporate. I think it's an amazing school for structure, hard work, time management, and those are the things that are going to get you ahead in life. And a good idea is not enough.
Exactly.
Executing that idea is everything. And if you don't have the patience or the strong mind to execute on that idea, then it means nothing. Someone else is going to do it. I'm very good at pitch proposals. I think it's thanks to corporate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good in meetings. I know how to speak properly. It's because I was pitching to CEOs and chairmen of the biggest banks and funds in the world. So I was very young when I was doing that, and I think it builds a lot of character when you surround yourself with the big dogs early.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily for me, I was around that early, you know, even as the assistant on the desk. And this is a very important thing that people underestimate. When you're a desk assistant, most people think it diminishes from your value.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're well educated, why are you a desk assistant? But the truth is, as a 21-year-old desk assistant, I was sitting in the room with the CEOs, the chairmen of every big corporation, of every board meeting. I was the one taking notes. I was the one listening in on the conversation, on the deals, on the negotiations. And that value supersedes the 15 years or 20 years that someone needs to even say hello to the CEO, for the CEO to even recognize who they are as a junior. It will probably take them 10 to 15 years to be eligible to get into that room. So the lesson here is never underestimate the value in being surrounded by that kind of mentality.
You said something very interesting, because you said you were sitting on the desk, taking the notes, listening, learning, and rubbing shoulders with the CEOs. But this means that you, since a young age, you embrace the growth mindset. Otherwise, a lot of 21 years old sitting in a room like this, like, what the hell I'm doing? So you had this growth mindset embraced since a young age. What made you say enough is enough?
Of the growth mindset?
No.
Of what?
Of your career. Enough
So
is enough.
let me first take you to why I had this growth mindset. I wasn't always like this. I think I lost myself a little bit in my late teens and in my late teens. I wasn't very good in school. I got distracted. I was not doing well with my grades. And I felt and believed that I wasn't smart enough. I believed it. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at physics. Like, I'm just not good. So I need to copy off someone else's test. I need to cheat in order to pass. I never even trusted my own mind that I am probably capable if I just try a little harder. And then I didn't get into the university I wanted to get into. And that shattered me. It almost made me feel, for the first time, because I always got away with things when I was younger. I just passed. I just was able to do the makeup exam, and I got away with everything. And the one time I didn't get away with it was really wanting to spend 4 years in the university that all my friends were in. And I was the only one that didn't get in because of one exam in one subject that should have been over 80, and I had it below 80. I was so disappointed. And that, from then, I felt like I need to prove a point. So I started becoming really good in university. And then even more so when I got this finance job, I'm like, I have a second shot to prove to everybody that I can. So that growth mindset started when I was really young. And now that I decided to shift gear, I think I took the resilience or the fight that I had to fight with me. And that, I mean, I've spoken about this quite often, that I feel like the A student never had it, never felt the feeling of rejection or failure, because they're an A student. They're always going to get the right answer. They study hard, they work hard, true. But when you put them in real life later on, most of the A students end up not really going anywhere, because going somewhere requires you to face your fears, to take risks, to fail, and to get back up. And when you don't understand the feeling of failure, most of the time it's safer to take an easy position that you're going to be really good at, because you will continue to get people telling you you're amazing.
Exactly.
You're great.
Good.
I'm so used to people telling me, Tracy, walao, another test you
Exactly,
failed, another
yeah.
makeup exam. So
True.
when I moved into entrepreneurship, it's almost like I felt like, okay,
Okay,
ubade, and
so-
I'll fail one more time. It's not,
I
it's
know
not
it.
like brand new information.
True.
You know what I mean? So I felt like I carried on with a growth mindset, and that's why I had the mental toughness, not the mental toughness, the heart to leave my finance job. It was a tough decision, and I'm not going to say I'm going to promote this.
believe
I don't
so.
think it's very easy to leave corporate if you have dependents, if you have a family. It's a tough thing to do.
How did you manage that? Like after 10 years in such role, and you decided, personally, I want to leave,
Yeah.
pursue my passion. Then you have all the noises behind you. The family, the friends, your close circle.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Look, I didn't tell my family for a long time that I left, because I knew that it only would have taken maybe one or two people to say, what are you doing, for me to say to fine, okay, let me go back to safety. I didn't want to hear the noise. So I made the call by myself. I switched off my LinkedIn because I was getting headhunters sending me job offers. I actually had a headhunter send me a job offer which was maybe 30 or 40% more than I got paid on my last role. And my blood was like boiling. I was really scared. And I said no. I never told anyone that I said no, because I would have never heard the end of it if I failed. They would have been like, you see, you could have done it, and now you're not in that position. And I didn't really make any good money. I think maybe my first year or year and a half, I was losing my money.
True.
And my bank account was completely dropping. And I went back to zero, and I was in debt. And I really messed up on that because it wasn't planned correctly.
True.
Which is why I always tell people, if you ever want to do this move, plan it, structure it, start small, build something on the side so you have confidence to leave.
I want to talk about these challenges.
Yeah.
When you've been in corporate for a while, have a good job, good income, and then you want to pursue your passion. What kind of challenges you faced, and what kind of advices you want to give the people watching us?
Money
because
was a huge
I
factor.
really resonate with you in one thing, and
Right.
we will talk about this. We talked about it over there.
Yeah.
But I want the listeners and the viewers to listen from you as in the beginning.
Okay. I would say a big factor is money, especially if you don't have anyone supporting you or financing you. I did not have anything to fall back on. No mom or dad or uncle or grandfather. I had no one to fall back on. So in that case, it's quite hard. And I didn't have a husband, and maybe you can take over. So it was only me, and it was scary. So I would say money was a big deal. And if you're not good in your finances, it's very hard to make good decisions.
True.
I feel like you make bad calls, you take deals you shouldn't take, you undervalue yourself. So finding a safety net when it comes to money is quite important. That's why I say save some money, build a little bit in silence, push through your corporate if you ever want to make that move, because you don't want to start making bad decisions just because you don't have money. What else? Doing everything on your own. I never realized how hard I never realized you had to, right? Because when you're in corporate, everybody has a role, and this
Exactly.
machine works beautifully together.
With or without you.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. So when you discover that no one's here to save you, you're going to really have to do it by yourself. You know, you don't have an accountant. You can't afford one.
Exactly.
Sorry.
A website
legal,
to do it. I'll do
a
it.
website,
True.
you have to figure that skill out. Legal, no one's going to read your contracts. Read your own contract. So I think those are the main two things: doing everything on your own and financial.
How did you manage leaving corporate at such prestigious role and going into the unknown entrepreneurship? How did you manage your ego?
My
It's
legal?
Ego.
My ego.
Yeah.
Look,
It's a crazy thing.
yeah. As I was saying before, you know, when you have a strong business card and a solid backup, right, the company that supports you, you have ammunition. So people are sold already before you even speak.
True.
But then when you leave and you have no business card anymore and you have no backup, you're a nobody again. And it's very humbling to remember that really you are nobody. And now you have nothing to help you except your skill set. That was a huge lesson for me. And that's why I'm really big on growth mindset that we talk about, because everyone thinks when I talk about learning skills, continue to learn, they're like, Tracy, take a break, relax. Like, why do you have to always learn? Well, why not? I mean, learning
True.
is not a punishment. It's like learning.
A lifelong journey.
It's a beautiful journey, and you're not sitting and like learning chemistry. I mean, you're learning about life skills, negotiations, things that can really help you get ahead. So I had to park my ego a lot when people undervalued me, when people said, listen, if you want to do this job in this industry, which is very different to what you know before, how about you do it for free? How about we give you $1,000 to do it? And I'm just like, I mean, that's like a month worth of my time, and you're telling me $1,000. It was hard, and it's very easy for your ego to get in the way.
True.
And then to say, you know what, screw that.
True.
تعرف أنا مين. You know,
نسيت أيام زمان. True.
So it's not the right thing to do, and you have to really be humble and really understand that you are nobody again, and
True.
you can build yourself from scratch. That's totally fine, and to have the courage to rebuild and restart. You know.
Your ventures. What was the first one, and what do you do?
Okay.
What made you leave corporate?
What made me leave corporate? So what made me leave corporate was not for the venture itself, which is why I had no money. It was for not being in corporate anymore. That was the bad decision.
So there was no idea?
There was I know that I can offer more. Not a good time to leave.
Okay.
A good time to leave is when you have the thing that you could offer.
True.
Now, it worked to my advantage because when I was thrown in the deep end, I had to swim. I had to figure it out and not drown. So it really pressured me to think fast and think quick so I can create something. It started with me having to do personal training for people because I didn't have money. I needed to figure out how to get paid, right? So because I wanted to do something in the wellness space, as I'm building and working on that, let me start doing PTs and training people. So I've had a few really solid, consistent people that I've trained that paid me comfortably at some point. I'm like, okay, thank God. Now I can think and now I can breathe. And now I can strategize. Before it's like, how do I survive? And in survival mode, you can't build.
True.
So I started with the fitness app. When I was able to build that, I built the fitness app. So I do workouts, workout programs there. And I have a course now. It's a fat loss nutrition guide. It's different to the workout program. What came after that? So this is all under Untraceable. And I do adventure trips, retreats, stuff like that. So this is all under Untraceable. Then I started expanding even further. We set up the Fifth Kind Productions, which is a creative production house. As I got good on social media, and that also helped. I started getting paid by brands to collaborate. So I'm like, thank God, now I have some more money. I can move, right? So because I got good at creating stories for brands, I've set up the Fifth Kind Production with my husband and his brother. His brother is the creative director. My husband is the producer in the business. And I'm a managing partner there. And then from there, what else? Mama Buza, which is the latest venture. We got approached by friends of ours, and they said, listen, we have recipes of a very good Arabic ice cream range. We'd love for you guys to make a brand out of it. We know you know storyboard. We know you know creative direction. We know you know branding network. Can we build this? We went to their house. We tried the flavors. We're like, sold. Let's do this. And it was such a fun project to work on. We just brought our skills and created a brand out of Mama Buza, and we're just so proud of it. It's like our little baby right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I read about you, you did a lot of things after 30.
Yeah.
Like, just to...
Almost everything that I'm proud of that's outside of investment banking was after 30.
Like, even from, like, you did this, handstand at 32, mindfulness at 33, all this.
Yeah.
What did this means to people listening to us?
That's a huge thing for me, and a huge thing I like to push and promote. I always talk about this. Most people I get messages from girls that are 24 telling me, I've never worked out before. I know it's too late for me. I can't train. I get messages from 28-year-olds. I can't believe I'm not married. I've lost hope. And I'm just like, dude, I'm 37. I just started my life, like literally now. I mean, how are you speaking this way? Which is why I like to explain, and I keep challenging myself in many ways. The handstands, I never did a handstand before, came at 30-something. My backflips, never backflipped in my life. 34, 35, I did a backflip. I was doing gymnastics, and now I can backflip comfortably. I mean, who would have thought? But I had to go over and over again. It's the consistency of something. It's not your age.
Never too late.
It's never too late. I've started Mama Buza just this year. The app was 3-4 years ago. course was right now. I mean, all these things that are making me money and I'm comfortable now. I'm 37. It's not like they were here. I was broke at 31 and when I left my finance job. So it's very important for me to say that to people because I wish someone would have said it to me. It's very easy to show your polished life and to show people your success, but most people don't tell you that you're going to be fine. This is the crap place I was in, and don't worry about it. And I think you can relate so much more when to someone's down than you can to someone's high. So I like to talk about that. I always bring it up because it's important for people to know that you're going to be okay, but you just need to put the discipline, you need to put the consistency, and nothing's going to be given to you on a silver platter.
We've touched upon growth mindset. What is growth mindset for people first time to hear about it?
Growth mindset. Carol Dweck, she's a doctor that I've read her book on growth mindset.
One of the best, actually.
She's great. And she really touched on how important the growth mindset is. And it goes back to what I told you about the A student and then the C student. When you tell somebody, and this is the new world we live in where you have to always tiptoe around everybody and you cannot say anything that will offend anybody.
True.
And that doesn't help anybody. The main person that's going to lose is that person that you're trying to tiptoe and walk around eggshells around. It is much more valuable to tell people, how did you get there? Show me the effort. More than, bravo, you got a good grade.
True.
Bravo, you did so well, you got this position. Because the more you tell the A student, bravo, bravo, bravo on the end result, the less likely they're going to do anything to fail because they want to keep you looking at them with that high standard. And the more you tell the C student, oh my God, you suck, the less likely they are going to feel like there's room for me to find the answer. So the middle ground is the growth mindset where you encourage people to show their work, to show their progress. You clap for them at trying, at building, whatever the result ends up being.
I love
That's
that.
a growth mindset.
And how people can cultivate it, because you see a lot of people around us, they have the fixed mindset. It is like this, it is me, it is
IQ,
exactly,
you're smart,
IQ,
you're stupid,
true.
you're this, you're that.
How can people cultivate a growth mindset?
I think a growth mindset should be cultivated in companies to start with. How to treat your employees or how to groom your employees to have a growth mindset, which starts with this, giving your what do you call it, your KPIs and all of these things based on the effort that was put, the incremental growth that was made. Even if you grew from let's say 1 to 10, 1 being the highest, 10 being the lowest, even if you grew from 10 to 6, but he's still not a 1, he grew from 10 to 6, I think that should be praised much more than the person that grows from 2 to 1. That's a very small effort of growth.
True.
So in corporations, it's very important to kind of encourage the incremental learning more than what you've done at the end. So if you were able to get from a 10 client list, you were able to get 5 of them in 1 year, that could be praised more than the one guy that stays with the $1 billion asset under management client, and it's the exact same one for 5 years. He shouldn't be really praised as much as the person that now has 6 clients, now has 10 clients, now has 20. That is much more of to encourage you to continue to grow, as opposed to just saying, I'm happy with where I am now and I will continue to work on one client. For you personally, a growth mindset would be to continue to learn, to fail forward, as in you fail, quickly shake it off, move on, learn from that failure, never assume that failure means that you're defeated. It's really truly believing that whatever whatever failure or downfall it is a learning for the next one. I know it's easier said than done, but enough times you will begin to look at it as a problem-solving equation, like, how am I going to solve for this problem today? It's a much better way to look at it than, oh my God, look at my life, it sucks, I can't believe this happened to me, I can't believe I lost this deal. Okay, you lost a deal, how can we solve to make it better? So really, it starts with being very mindful and very alert and very aware. That's quite important. And most people are not mindful when they work, when they eat, when they walk around. Mindfulness doesn't exist anymore. And mindfulness is quite important for you to have the awareness to say, okay, now this is happening. I may feel like crap, but the way to move forward is to say, shake it off. Let's continue to learn.
And learn the lesson.
Yeah.
In the past You had 10 years of experience in corporate, and afterward being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What would be the advice of a person who feel themselves they're stuck in their corporate life and they want to move forward? Does being an entrepreneur require specific, I would say, DNA? Or if you recommend them, okay, if you're in a corporate and you think it is good, just stay in corporate. Because, you know, a lot of people when you see on social media, they think that entrepreneurship is all the lavish and the luxury and. They just see the 5% at the end. So what's your advice to them? Are you pro-corporate, you're pro-entrepreneurship, or it depends on the person?
Like you said, I think entrepreneurship requires a specific DNA. Your perception is your reality. The same exact thing could happen to me, and it could happen to X. I could react to that challenge very, very differently to how the person next to me reacts to it. And that is going to be the deciding factor of whether you're cut out for entrepreneurship or if you're not. It's tough. It shakes your character. It puts you down. It's not an easy game to play. And if you don't have the stamina for it, because entrepreneurship is not about intelligence. Most of the C students are the entrepreneurs. True. Because they probably didn't get accepted to a certain job. They didn't go to the Ivy League university, so they had no other choice but to figure something out. So, I mean, business world is run by the C students and the D students. Like it's not an intelligence game. It's a stamina game. You have to have stamina, and if you don't, and it will eat away at your stress, you cannot perform. And it should not be at the expense of your mental health. It's not at the expense of your mental health. It should not be. And if that's the case and you don't have the stamina and you have dependence on you and it's just going to eat away at your relationships, at your relationship with yourself, then it's not worth it. If you have a good position in corporate, and what I mean by good position is somewhere where you're growing, somewhere where you're learning, somewhere where you're becoming better, not somewhere where you're clocking in and out.
True.
If you're clocking in and out, no one's telling you to go to entrepreneurship, but find a job that you're not clocking in and out, that you are learning from the people around you. Because that's going to give you purpose, and that's what's going to keep you with the stamina of corporate.
True.
You know?
Somebody listening to us and said, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, a young person. What skills these people should develop in themselves to be a successful entrepreneur in our today's era?
Growth mindset, like we talked about, 100%. Resilience.
And I love that you talked about finance, because a lot of people don't understand finance and they hit the wall. Resilience, for sure. Money management. It's a big one. I think if you start with these and I would say, like, I don't want to say business strategy, because sometimes you can just figure the strategy later on. You just wing it. But if you start off by, you know, moving one step in front of the other, just move. You know, you have to have the will and the confidence to make moves. And sometimes the fear or the you know, you get scared. So when you're scared, you're paralyzed. True.
So you have to learn how to be able to walk through the paralysis, you know?
What is entrepreneurship definition to you? How do you define an entrepreneur? Because, you know, I hear a lot of, and of course I have my own vision, but you pass through this and you pass through this. Of course, your vision of this is very interesting.
Look, I mean, back to what I was saying, what I think entrepreneurship is stamina, is mental toughness, it's growth. That's what entrepreneurship is.
Did you have a complete plan where you are right now? Because a lot of people say, like, okay, sit, make a plan, a concrete plan, and step by step
Not at all. That's what I was telling you. The whole wing it thing is so real to me. Like, I think you could just figure things out along the way. A lot of people do that. I mean, most people think that entrepreneurs have everything figured out. Most people don't know what they're doing.
Not.
Most people have no idea what they're doing, and they figure it out along the way. You think I have any idea how to function a supply chain of ice cream? No idea. I figure it out.
But I learned growth mindset.
Yeah, you figure it out. You ask the experts. You bring people on board. You ask people, how do I structure this so I make the least amount of mistakes? You get an investor on board that has like the skill set in terms of added value, you know, not just money investment, but a skill set added value. So these things you can learn along the way, but I think you just have to have courage. You have to just have courage, you know what I mean? To say, I'm going to play these moves, and you'll figure it out along the way. Most people, honestly, from the biggest paid people to people that are 10, 15 years in entrepreneurship, still have no idea what they're doing. The higher they go, they figure it out.
True.
The higher they go, they learned everything before because they've done and tested it.
True.
But there's a new challenge that comes, and they're still figuring it out. They don't know what they're doing. They're figuring things out. They're getting the right players in place. And that's more or less what it is.
Back in the days, what was the definition of success to you?
Success was a promotion, having a seat in a big fancy firm, having a business card that matters. That's all that mattered to me.
And now, it differed, of course.
Yeah. Success is resilience. I would definitely say that. It's how did I get back up again? I feel like I get so proud of myself when I'm knocked down and I figure something out. I mean, very recently this happened to me, and I was probably in tears, telling my husband, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm lost. I'm stuck. I'm hitting a wall on every single turn for launching this. And he kept saying, he doesn't baby me through it or try to hold my hand. He would answer me like, you've got this, Trace, you'll figure it out. And I'm like, what is this stupid answer? Like, and I would get angry at them, like, are you joking right now? How am I supposed to build? Like, I don't know how to build this thing. I'm sure you'll figure it out. He'll help me, maybe put me in touch with someone. And then I'm like, till today, I mean, this was for the fat loss program that I did, put up a course, set it up, the website, all these little walls that I was hitting, programs, all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And all of a sudden, I can sit back and say, I have 1,500 members on my fat loss program. I just launched it, and I'm not even started. I didn't even start with marketing, like paid ads or anything. It's literally me talking about it. And I looked at my husband, and I'm like, I'm so damn proud of myself. Like, I did this.
True.
I did it myself. Nobody did it for me. I did it.
True.
And that for me is success. You know, the resilience to push through when things get tough and not to give up. I didn't think that was success when I was sitting in my finance job.
True. If I ask you what was, I would say, your favorite failure to date, a failure that you're super proud of.
I'll tell you. I think it was I was supposed to be part of a big talk show. I didn't get the job. It was a failure. And I was so upset because I thought that I wanted it so bad. Like I wanted that specific talk show. And I like the idea of talking and like, you know, going through being on TV. It was a huge channel, and I didn't get the job, and I was so upset. And I thought to myself, like, why me? And I thought I was good for it. But I feel like it redirected me to do something else. And that's when I had the time, and I figured Fifth Kind Productions, and then we did Mama Booza, and now I have the Fat Loss Guide. And I wouldn't now, if I think about the talk show, I had to drive to Abu Dhabi, do a talk show for 1 hour, drive back, and I'm like, I don't care about the talk show, right? So that's another big learning, that if you don't get something, it's the universe's way of pivoting you somewhere else.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
True. And what is your proudest accomplishment to date?
Weirdly enough, it's this fat loss program, and I'll tell you why. Although I have other bigger firms that I work on, this one touches an emotion for me, because I noticed how many people struggle with their relationship with food, with control, with discipline around food. They hate themselves for not being able to understand their bodies. We live in a world where people are taking injections to get thin again. They have no willpower when it comes to it, and we live in a world where we have big tech, big agriculture, big pharma giving us any information that it's suitable for them at our expense. So we end up losing our health, thinking things are healthy when they're not. And when I figured out the structure of how to eat quality, real food to feel full and to feel comfortable, and not have a fight if you want to lose weight by starving yourself and putting your body in that survival mode, I had to tell everybody about it. Like, it took me a long time to learn it. And the messages I get from people telling me, you saved my life. You saved my relationship with food. I cannot believe, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I made my course really cheap on purpose, because this is the one thing that I don't care as much about as much as I want it to go to everybody. Like, that is more important. I mean, if I do a course on entrepreneurship one day, I'll probably charge a lot for that. But for this, I'm like, I don't care. All I care about is more people know. And it makes me proud to see the results. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, this feeling, I'm like, wow. You know when they say when you do something of service to people, it makes you proud? I never really got it. Like, is it charity? Is it what? But this is of service. It's almost like it's for you, about you, to kind of build yourself and your character and your confidence. And the fact that it resonates means everything to me. I can't quantify how much my brand collaborations resonate, or an ad we do for a client, or Mama Buza resonates. It's not that much of a resonate, you know. Although the business can be doing really well, but it doesn't feel as good. This thing, the course that I created for the fat loss, feels amazing to me.
If I ask you, like, somebody will ask you, give me 2 tips now, things to do right now to develop myself. What are the most 2 important things from your standpoint? Because you've been on a personal development journey.
Yeah.
What would be the first 2? Just jump out of your seat and do it.
First 2 would be go to the gym and learn a new skill.
So learn every day and exercise every day.
Yeah, go to the gym, because you need to, your confidence will be built in the gym, and you need to move, and that's your longevity. That's how you're going to be independent forever, if you have a muscle structure that's going to save you from dependence. And work your brain. Like, find a new skill, because every new skill you learn, the likelihood is double the chances of you making more money.
True.
So that's where you start.
With the skill part, what's your view on AI taking over?
I think AI is an amazing tool. And I think if you know how to work it correctly, it could be your ally and not your enemy. Just like, I mean, there were trains before, and now we have airplanes. I mean, like, everything takes over, and technology has always, put old business has outdated old business. You see this in the oil fields, like the new form of pulling out oil versus the old form. Like, it's always been the case. So it's not a matter of it taking over, but it will take over when you're not good enough,
ready for it,
and you're not qualified enough. It will probably take your place, unfortunately. But if you get qualified, you get good, you work with AI, you will bypass anybody by miles who doesn't know how to work with AI. And what I mean by that is, you don't ask AI to draft your emails and to write your proposal and to speak on your behalf, because I feel like now we see right through it. Everybody knows when something was a ChatGPT email.
True.
I could see it from a mile away. You completely lose then. What's much more important is for you to maybe say, I want advice the way Warren Buffett would have given it to me if I were to put a strategy in place for so-and-so business. How would he give me that advice? And also use the words of this author, that author, and that author to kind of give me the right step-by-step guidance to build so-and-so. That's a great way to use AI. You leverage off of AI. You don't ask AI to do the work for you. You get the structure, and then you say, okay, cool, I could play moves right now. How do I put this proposal together if I am new to the industry, blah, blah, blah. They'll kind of tell you, first you structure this, then you structure that, and now you have a template to work off of. So, yeah. Because
we see a lot of people just using ChatGPT.
It's crazy. I get emails that says, hi, first name. Like, they even forget to replace, like... A little bit of work. I mean, no one's asking for too much. You had one job, just replace my name. That's all you had to do, you know?
We see it these days as well, and we do a lot of consultancy and advisory, and we see it a lot. Like, organizations are moving crazy with ChatGPT specifically, but in a very strange way. Like, it makes you laugh.
Exactly.
How is your typical day looks like? Like,
it depends on the season.
Is it structured? Is it routine based? It's system based, or?
Yeah, I'm big on structure. I think structure is very important. And when I don't structure, I lose my way. I'm not telling you I'm Superwoman. I can structure every day. Sometimes I don't feel like doing anything, and then I wake up, I'm just like, you feel groggy, you feel tired, you feel lethargic. And that comes when you don't have structure. So for me, structure is important. Waking up early is important with the sun. Doing a morning routine, a quick one of, getting my shit together, basically, having, like doing my bed, doing my meditation, reading a chapter in a book. I do all of those things, as lame as they sound. And people sometimes think, okay, wow. But it matters to me because I feel, and I put my clothes on. Like I work from home sometimes. Even if I'm working from home, I put on my clothes. I look good. I look like this. I do that on purpose because when I'm sitting in my pajamas, I do nothing.
Exactly.
I will sit on my phone, probably lying down on my sofa and trying to work through emails on my phone. And the rest of the day goes downward spiral. So I have to kind of put myself together early so that my day goes well. I even eat better when I do that. So having the deep work in the morning, which is when your willpower is at its highest, I get something that I need to do that's very, very important out of the way in the morning. For me, let's say the gym is very easy to go to. I don't have a struggle to go. So I don't mind going to the gym at 2. Some people, gym is maybe the toughest thing for them. Go to the gym at 7. Get the hardest thing out of the way in the morning. That's what I always say. Then your willpower becomes smaller, lower and lower later on in the day. Like now at 6 p.m. if you tell me to write a proposal, there's no way I'll do it. So I get the hard things out of the way at the beginning, midday gym kind of, and then answer emails, all those things that are easy and you can do with one eye closed. I do that later in the afternoon. Spend time with my husband, of course, it's important. We work together as well, so there's a lot of like interaction in the day. But that's a typical day on a good day. On a bad day, it's waking up, not doing my bed, scrolling. I don't read a single book like that. I go through phases, and when I go through that phase, I have to wake myself up again. It's not easy to have structure all the time. But when you're not having the structure, be mindful of it, be aware, and go back to the structure. It's okay to reset. It's okay, True.
We have a question in the show, which is a nugget question. I always ask all the alpha guests to define what's an alpha. What's an alpha for you?
I'll tell you what an alpha is. An alpha is someone with mental toughness, resilience, knows what they want, and someone who has agency. Agency is somebody who trusts their own judgment, who trusts their decision making, and who knows that if I make these decisions, I know that whether it's a right decision or a wrong decision, it's a decision I made, and I'm willing to take that risk and I'm willing to go for it. It's not someone that needs everybody's opinion before they make moves. That's alpha.
Well said. We have a section here called the Alpha Quickfire.
Yeah.
I'll ask you very quick questions. So are you ready for that?
Let's go.
What's your favorite workout routine?
Workout routine. I would say deadlifts, squats, and reverse lunges. It would be my circuit for lower body, upper body, pull-ups, push-ups.
What's your favorite book? You threw a couple.
Yeah.
Great ones.
I would say Deep Work. Deep Work by Cal Newport. It taught me a lot of how to sit and get something done.
What's your go-to healthy snack?
Boiled eggs.
Last movie you watched, not today's one, but last movie you watched.
Last movie I watched. What did I watch recently? I just watched it yesterday, actually. You know the book, The Art of Not Giving a Fuck?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he has a documentary now on not on Netflix, on OSN maybe. You should watch it. He basically talks about why he got to that point.
Oof.
Everything behind, like his story, how it happened, what he learned.
That would be a very nice one.
It's a very good one. I watched that yesterday.
One word to describe your journey.
Volatile.
Your biggest inspiration?
Where I want to be. Imagining who that person is.
Favorite place to travel?
Africa. Like if I'm around in the jungle is something I love. around the big 5
Mhm.
animals.
In 3 words, describe yourself.
Resilient.
Mm.
Emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And stamina.
You know, I have another question, but I want to pause here because that's a very important topic. What does it mean for people to have an EQ, an emotional intelligence? Because before we were assessing people according to their IQ. That's gone. Now EQ it is the thing. What are your takeaways on EQ and how people can have or develop an EQ? Because I believe personally it's a very important, I would say, let's put it, a skill that people need to develop.
Look, I think emotional intelligence takes you very far. There's a book which probably supersedes the first one I told you about. Chris Voss wrote it. It's called Negotiate.
Never split the difference.
Never split the difference. And a lot of your skill set of getting somewhere is if you have emotional intelligence. If you know how to keep it together when the world is going to crap. If someone's volatile with their emotions, you know how to keep it together. And at the same time, you know how to come in with empathy, with understanding, with listening before you speak. It's a huge skill.
True.
And a skill that most people cannot have. And they do not have. You could learn physics, you could be an engineer, but not having emotional intelligence is almost, it's a very difficult one, you know. And I think the best way to implement it is to be very, very mindful. Most people are not mindful. They're on autopilot all the time. So yeah, emotional intelligence is very, very important.
Super critical. One of the also nugget questions in the show is that I ask the alpha guest to ask me any question that comes to your mind.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question that I ask on my podcast. Okay. So my podcast is called What They Don't Tell Us.
Okay.
Where we talk about things that people should have known before, back in school, before many other things, but haven't. And you end up figuring it out along the way. So if I were to ask you, what don't they tell us? What is the one lesson, one learning that you know now that you wish you knew before? What don't they tell us?
Not to leverage things. Not to be smart enough to ask for help. Schools are always teaching us to be the number one. If I ask help from you in school, I'll be a cheat and I'll be expelled. Life needs more collaboration. I can leverage your skills to help me to do something. Schools doesn't teach us this. Teach us if I do this, then I'm a cheat. Get out. Second thing, doesn't teach us money, numbers. And once you get outside in the lovely world we live in and you don't have this, the money knowledge, the number knowledge, the finance, you really get screwed. These are, I would say, the top 2 in my head now.
I love it. Good answer.
We have the last, it's a little bit fun section. It's called the alpha choices. So I'll ask you this or that and you choose one. So Dubai Marina or Dubai downtown?
I don't like both, by the way. Honestly, I don't like both. Like if you told me DIFC and Meadows, then I'd be like, okay, I can. But those 2 places, oh my God.
No.
I would say maybe downtown.
Traditional Arabic ice cream or protein shake?
Traditional Arabic ice cream. Hello.
Of course, yeah, that's what I'm asking. I'm just confirming it.
Confirming, Mama Booza, please.
Hosting a podcast or giving a keynote speech?
Keynote speech.
Corporate finance or fitness entrepreneurship?
Fitness entrepreneurship.
Cardio or strength training?
Strength.
Creating digital content or live events?
Live events.
A luxury spa day or an adventure sports?
Adventure, 100%.
Leading a team or solo projects?
Leading a team.
Mentoring young entrepreneurs or coaching fitness clients?
Mentoring young entrepreneurs.
People watching us now and they want to connect with you. What is the easiest way to connect with you?
Instagram is a good place to connect with me, Tracy Harmoush. I'm also on YouTube for my What They Don't Tell Us podcast. And my website, un-traceable.com. That's where you can find my course. That's where you can find my app. You can download my app through the website. So website, Instagram,
Super.
YouTube.
I'll put all these details in the description. And what will be the final message you want to leave the audience with today?
Be brave, have courage. Don't take things too seriously. It's so much worse when you don't try than trying and not really having your way and figuring it out. So try one step in front of the other. You've got this.
The last thing, we have an Alpha Talks memoir. The Alpha Talks memoir, where I asked the Alpha guests to do a couple of things. Number one is to write their experience in the show. The second is to write a question to the next Alpha guest. They will not know who's writing the question. It's a way of communicating to each other, which means that you will write a question. You will answer a question from the previous Alpha guest.
Okay.
So are you ready for that?
Yeah. You're not going to tell me who asked?
Absolutely not.
It's a secret.
Confidentiality.
It's in your big black
book. There's an NDA. But the question is so big. When you look back from whatever or wherever your end point is, and if we didn't understand, we'll skip.
Yeah.
What will you be saying about your accomplishments then? And how would that compare to what you saying your target is?
So if I were in the future, if I were to look back at where I am, what would I say about my accomplishments?
Exactly.
And what would they...
Let's stop here.
Okay, that's enough.
Let's stop here. Let's stop here.
Okay.
You know, it's half a page.
Wow, it's like an essay. All right, so what would I say about my accomplishments? Or what would I tell my younger self?
I believe better like the day that you left corporate.
Yeah, okay.
You went back to that time and you look at yourself now, what you did. What you will tell yourself?
I tell that 31-year-old so many things.
Yeah.
Man, it's a lot. It's like, keep pushing. You've got this. Don't stress too much. Everything I just said to the audience, it's really so true. And if you really believe that your life is not finite and you don't have deadlines, deadlines is a fake notion that people put just so that you can get a job done. It doesn't exist. You could be a millionaire starting at 60. So this idea of like really removing that stress of overthinking, what if, what about, if ever, always thinking what's going to happen when it never really happened. I would say you really don't need to do any of that. Just put your head down, work hard, keep trying.
True.
Something will happen.
True. Tracy, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you with us today. And I'm sure everybody listening and watching us will really enjoy the episode. A lot of nuggets been shared. I appreciate it, and I will look forward to have another episode with you.
That would be great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thanks for having me.
That wraps another inspiring episode of today's show. I hope that this episode has ignited your inner alpha and left you feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to conquer any challenge that comes your way. Remember, alphas aren't born, they're made. It isn't about dominating others, it's about embracing your authenticity, leading with integrity, and making a positive impact on the world. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the Alpha Talks on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review and share the podcast with your fellow alphas. Also connect with us on social media at Seif El Hakim. Share your thoughts, insight, and stories of personal and business growth with us. Let's create a movement of alphas supporting one another. The world needs more alphas like you exactly. Until next time, stay bold, stay driven, and stay alpha.